We're only one day into a new anime season, and already I'm finding a bit overloaded with the number of episodes airing today. I'm counting 9 new anime which I'm going to be watching airing today, plus a 2 from yesterday, so yeah, that's a lot. But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to watch all the anime so you don't have to. So you know which ones to skip and which ones to watch, as I take a look at them and let you know what I think of them. So what anime are you interested in seeing this season? Let me know in the comments. But for now, keep watching, because this is a 2020 autumn anime preview from a different perspective. Now here we go. Now here's an anime I don't need a reminder sheet just above the camera to do. Welcome to the world of Oratoria. Welcome to the world of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Season 3. An anime which I've really enjoyed over the last few years, with a fresh take it gives on the fantasy genre. And the anime thrusts us deep into a dungeon to begin with things which happened right at the very end of the last season. A girl just naked in a dungeon, scared, alone. The problem is, she's not human. She's a monster. She's a voiver. Adventurers are hunting her down. The monsters are hunting her down. She's alone. She's afraid. She's defenseless. So who would come to her rescue? Well, you have to ask yourself this one simple question. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Because for the first time in the anime, he actually does. He picks up a girl in a dungeon. Despite the arguing with his adventuring companions, he helps this girl, takes her home. Yes, that takes a monster out of a dungeon, and introduces her to his goddess, Hestia. Now, the first episode of Danganronpa Season 3 is very light, very fluffy, but with a hell of a lot going on in the background. You've got the likes of Uranus talking about monsters who can talk. You've got adventurers talking about rumours of monsters with weapons. You've got Hermes Familiar going all around being a bit mysterious. Meanwhile, you've got Hestia Familiar being all friendly and happy and cosy at home with a newfound monster girl ally, Ween. Now, Ween is adorable. Lily's worried that Belle's going to see her as a cute love interest. I think Ween potentially sees Belle that way as well, but Belle sees Ween as a cute friend to be rescued. I don't think he's attracted to him that way at all. Of course, Ween is that of a child. Ween's got the mind of a child, and she doesn't look that old either, but she's still a monster. At one point, she absolutely gashes his arm, almost slicing it off. Thankfully, she catches herself, and they decide to trim her claws. They basically give her a manicure, which is cute. There's no way they can keep her there forever, because she's a monster girl. This is the town of adventurers hunting monsters. To be hiding a monster is a bad thing, and this can only lead to trouble. There's no sign of that trouble at the moment, just happy family life with the wonderful characters of Hestia Familiar. Nothing can go wrong from here. I assure you, nothing can go wrong. If you want to know what does go wrong, you can carry on watching this one over at High Dive and Crunchyroll. Veil Romanesque is the latest anime in the line of this topic has otaku interest in it. Let's turn them into cute girls. Welcome to the world of train girls in Veil Romanesque. And that's about as much as I can tell you about the plot, because not much actually happens. We're introduced to a bunch of cute anime girls who are somehow trains, or the anime calls them Rail Lords, or Rail Lords. Not to be confused with Whale Lord, which is a ginormous, huge Pokemon which is most commonly seen in fan art with Skitty. Now, these are Rail Lords. They're girls who are either trains or train conductors or train controllers or anthropomorphized versions of trains. To be honest, the anime doesn't really tell you. It doesn't tell you why they are either. We don't know. We know what they are. We don't know why they are or how they are. We just know they're there. And they're cute anime girls, somehow connected to trains. And this is a short anime, so this will be a short preview. If you want to watch Rail Romanesque, you can find it over at Funimation and Crunchyroll. Next up is probably my most anticipated anime in the new season. Given that Danmachi Season 3 is airing, we'll tell you a lot about what I think about it. Welcome to Tonikawa Over Moon for You. Welcome to the world of Nasa Yuzaki, who is a smart kid who is given a terrible name from terrible, terrible parents. I mean, the heart is where it counts. They want him to aim for a moon, so they name him NASA. But unfortunately, being called NASA makes you the target of loads of jokes, and He doesn't realise until early life that people are actually picking on him when they laugh at his name. Rather than being downbeat, he takes it as a challenge. I'm going to be so smart people think of me, not space, when they think of NASA. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. But his heart is again in the right place, so he pushes himself to go for the best university that money can't buy in Japan. And is almost certainly going to get accepted until he gets hit by a truck. There's a reason why he gets hit by a truck, which brings us to the crux of the story. See, going home after another mock exam, he spies the most beautiful girl he's ever laid his eyes on the other side of the street. And so enraptured by her beauty, he just crosses the street. Unfortunately, there's a truck coming. The truck hits him and is teleported to another... No, wrong anime. He's not teleported to another world, but he sees the whole world appear in front of him, as not only is he protected from a truck, but he's brought face to face with the girl he just saw, who protects him from a truck somehow. How that happens, I have no idea. And says, I'm glad you're okay, I've got to go now. And she goes to leave. Now Nasa is a bit worried about this because he knows if he lets her go, he'll never see her again. He's also bleeding from the head and has just been hit by a truck, so he's not in the best of mind. But because he's so desperate to speak to her again, he fights through her pain and chases her down. He finds her on the bus stop and they talk a bit, and he realises just how badly hurt he is, and just as he's getting up to leave, he turns to her and says, look, I'm never going to see you again. If you go, I've got to tell you this, I love you, will you go out with me? Suddenly, we're at the end of the anime. No, again, this is not that type of show. We're not to the end of an anime where a character finally confesses his love after 1,000,001 episodes. We're in episode 1 of this anime, where love is only a start. So Tsukasa turns to him and says, yeah, okay, I'll go out with you, if you marry me. And of course he says yes, and then promptly faints and never sees her again in his life. He wakes up in hospital 3 months later. He's missed going to university. He can't get into university anymore, so he's got a year out from school. He changes his way of life. He wants to meet as many people as possible and hope that he finally meets her again, and hope that finally he will get to be with his dream girl, who is effectively proposed to him. And he said yes. And one day, on his 18th birthday, he is knocking on the door, and there she is, randomly turning up at his door with a marriage certificate in hand, saying, sign here, date here, tick here, stamp here, yes, we're married, end of. And so yes, she does turn up, they get married, they don't have a big ceremony, they just go to a registry office in the middle of the night, apparently they do that in Japan, and they become legally man and wife. Suddenly, Tsukasa becomes Tsukasa Yuzaki, and they have a huge prospect of living together going forward. There was a little bit of a preview thing on the Crunchyroll Expo last one, where Kendra had to talk about why he did this anime, why he did it. And what he actually said was interesting, and it's kind of true as well. So many romance anime take the confession and the love as the ending point. What he's doing with Tanikawa is he's taking the love and confession as a starting point. You've got two characters who love each other, or that's how it appears. Nasa definitely loves Tsukasa, but how Tsukasa feels, all we know is she wanted to get married to him. And she does generally seem to like him, which is a nice surprise, especially for Nasa, I'm sure. But how they go from here, as they enter into a world of married life, who knows? This anime is very fun. It's very predictable in places, but it's got its heart. It reminds me, and not unsurprisingly, of Hayato the Combat Butler. It's romantic comedy, a bit of slapstick, a bit of comedy, a bit of mystery, but overall, it's won me over in episode 1. Tsukasa, I'm sorry you're taken, but I still love you anyway. Nasa, you lucky bastard. If you do want to watch this one, it's airing over at Crunchyroll. King's Raid, Successor to the Will, is an anime I didn't really know much about going into it. Coming out of it, I know a bit more about it, but it's not really an anime which tells its story in one episode. It's a swords and sorcery type anime, where our main character Cassell is a knight in training, and is kind of a bad one at that. He keeps getting his ass handed to him by his trainer, despite how much he tries. Not really ever intend to defeat your trainer. The trainer's there to teach you what to do, not to be defeated by you. This is not Sword Art Online after all. Now, Cassell does not much in the anime at all. He's there just wandering around town, guarding people, and just being a loser. The other knights in the anime are the ones who do stuff in this particular episode. They fight the enemy and get themselves killed, leaving Cassell in his zone, chasing up to try and find what the hell is going on. Now, behind the scenes of King's Raid, there's a lot of political intrigue going on. You got the nobles who are very much self-interested, trying to determine what to do with everything going on. You got the Dark Elves who are hated by everyone, are clearly plotting to the downfall of civilization, but are clearly going to respond to a plot because why don't they introduce these really interesting looking characters who aren't really going to do anything. And they do also look to be kind of good guys despite the fact they are dark elves, because why else would they talk so bad about them? You have a priestess, Frey, who is clearly a childhood friend, therefore love interest of Cassell, who also wants to go out with Cassell to rescue their knight friend, who's clearly dead or gone evil. Now, King's Raid is based on a game of the same name, and I don't know anything about it. It's probably a gacha game. They've showed lots of characters here which you probably can recruit in the game, but I don't know too much about it. In terms of the anime sort of had a washed out effect about it. There wasn't much really to talk about. There's a plot, it looks intriguing, but it's not anything special. Similar type of anime before, you know exactly what you're getting into with King's Raid. It's not going to win any medals for originality here. Not when it needs to, it just needs to be watchable so that people can buy the game and play it and give the company all their money. If you did want to watch King's Raid, this one's airing over at Funimation. 2 of my most anticipated shows of the season airing today, so no surprise I'm in a better mood than I was last time. Tony Cow on its own would make me happy, but Danmachi 2? That's a win-win situation. And the other 2 shows weren't terrible. Next I'll look at 4 more new shows, join me then, and thanks for watching, have a wonderful day, bye bye.